Peace, what's going on? This is Yane. Man, I have not done a video in a long time, but I have a lot of stuff coming. I really do. I've been on the low, building within, building without, and I think around June or July, there should be like a hard launch. Yeah, around June, late June, there should be a hard launch of a lot of things that I'm doing. So stay tuned for that, all right? But I just wanted to send this message because it's just been something that I'm excited about. I've been very excited about it, but I think even more so now, but also just for us to be mindful of some things. So what it comes down to is we are in a collective initiation time. We are in a collective transformational time. There's a quote that I think about that says, it's a simple quote, and it says, I am because you are because I am, right? And what I love about that is that it talks about us being connected because we are. Cultural differences, the biological differences, the class separation, there's so many titles and labels that we put on what we do in this human experience that divide us. But deeper than this human experience, on a deeper level, we are all absolutely connected. And I say that because no matter what path that you're on, no matter what religion you follow, no matter what you believe in, you are going through a transformation. This all started a lot with the pandemic. You know, the pandemic and the quarantine pushed a lot of people to discover and explore themselves, right? And those are the two most important actions of the soul: exploration and discovery. I think about when we were babies, you know, how important it was for us to explore and discover, and the excitement that came from that. We loved it. And it was actually traumatic. You know, we came out the womb hearing things and just seeing darkness and being in water. And now all of a sudden we see these colors and people, and a doctor smacks us, and, you know, like all this shit is going on. And we're discovering it for the first time, but it was exciting. And we were just open to doing it. Somewhere we stopped that. Somewhere as adults, or in life, we start to feel as though there's not much more to discover. Or we think that the discovery is all about discovering land or discovering people, but really, man, there's so much more to discover. So much more about ourselves that we need to discover. The deeper parts of who we are, the deeper parts of everything, right? These inner parts. And there's so much more to explore and discover within us. That's actually the most important part that we have to explore and discover if we really want to understand God. That's how we understand God more. The more we understand and explore and discover the deeper parts of us. What are we choosing that's really from us? Did we choose our degrees from us? Did we choose our clothes from us? Did we choose our marriages, our relationships from truly who we are? Or did we do it out of a place of scarcity? Did we do it out of a place of pressure, out of a place of confusion, right? But when we get to a place of knowing within ourselves, where we choose or what we choose comes from actually what God intends for us. It's actually coming from the deeper parts of us. It's coming from our soul, right? So the question is, and this is why the pandemic was so important, because the pandemic pushed us. It wasn't just about being in the house. It wasn't just about, I don't even think, honestly, like the virus was a huge thing. But the deeper part that I was looking at is, wow, look at the transformation that's happening to the collective consciousness of human beings. This is amazing. People who weren't even thinking about that stuff, all of a sudden now they're like, yo, what's going on? It's the awakening. Welcome. Welcome, right? And the question is, how many of us were actually leaning in to the initiation, to the transformation? And how many of us are trying to get back to how it was? How many of us chose to learn the lessons rather than change the condition? We are collectively going through a transformation. And it looks like different things. It looks like leaving our jobs. It looks like divorces. It looks like the breaking of relationships, the beginning of new ones. You know, it looks like new businesses. It looks like closing businesses. The transformation, it's uncomfortable because the soul is getting you to do something that you have been comfortable doing in your human experience. Your ego chose a way to lead your life. Your soul has a different path that wants to lead. So the intention needs to shift to where the soul is actually speaking, not the ego, not our fears, not our concerns, not our comparisons, right? Because as you know, comparison is the thief of joy. Joy is a smile of the soul. So if we cannot shift that intention, then we are always going to be led by what's outside of us and not within ourselves, right? So the reason why it's important for us to be mindful that we're in this transformation, to understand that we're in this awakening, is because there are so many things working against our consciousness and distracting us and diluting us from our spiritual potency. See, we are all connected. So we cannot approach meditation and prayer and all these things in a selfish way. It's not just about you. Meditation is not just for you to feel good and to feel healthy and to be focused. Meditation is actually for you to be more of a conduit for Source to be able to express its love through you for other people. That's really what this spiritual walk is about. We are all connected. So if I'm actually gonna sit with my bitterness, if I'm gonna sit with my old wounds, if I'm not really going to transform myself to become that love, to become that for someone else, then I'm cutting off the flow that Source wants to do through me. I'm cutting off the circulation of the body, the blood of the body. I'm cutting that off if I do that. This is the reason why it's important when we wake up in the morning, ask the empowering questions. The questions of how can I serve today? How can I be more loving today? How can I do that? Ask those questions, because when we ask those questions, we actually now position ourselves to be used in such a way where we don't even know that we became the opportunity of someone else's growth. Don't get me wrong, we are all opportunities of someone else's growth in some way or the other. There's no question about it. The thing is, are you an opportunity of growth through love or through pain? I was an opportunity of growth for people. I was an opportunity of growth when I was ghosting. I was an opportunity of growth when I didn't have control of my emotions and I would get angry. I was an opportunity of growth when I was confused, not knowing really where I wanted to be in life, not knowing really what I wanted. But it was done through pain. People experienced that from me and didn't like what they felt. And they had to learn about themselves of why hopefully they learned about themselves. Or they just try to switch the character. I'm not dating no light-skinned nigga with a bald head. but you still ended up with the same story. I'm not dating no cancer. I'm not dating nobody that's like that, but you're gonna end up with the same lesson. We all are opportunities for other people's growth. But are we opportunities of pain or are we opportunities of love? See, I want to be an opportunity of love. And the only way for me to do that is for me to consistently be mindful of this transformation that I'm in and understand that we are all connected. There's a brother last night who I was speaking with, and he was talking about a story that he heard from another therapist. And the story was about a woman who, I don't believe this is true. I hope it's not true, but there is a point to the story. But she wanted to go out. She wanted to dance and have fun. She danced and she had fun, and she met a brother with red hair. And the brother with red hair took her dancing. They had some fun, but then he robbed her. So she said, yo, from now on, I am not going to dance with a brother with red hair, right? And then next time she wanted to go dance again. She went to go dance again. Brother came through with some nice waves, good hair, And she was like, she was dancing, had fun, he robbed her. She said, from now on, I am not dancing with brothers with the good hair. And then she met a brother with a bald head. And she danced with him, had fun, robbed her. At that point, she's like, you know what? I'm gonna stop dancing. I'm gonna sit this out. Because if I don't learn the lesson, then I'm going to end up dancing with the same person. Because it's not about the person, it's about ourselves. It's not about the condition, it's about ourselves. It's about how we internalize when we look deep within ourselves, explore and discover who it is that's choosing, that's attracting these things to my life. How am I going through them? How am I internalizing them? Now that I'm understanding more of this spiritual journey, now that I'm understanding and being more intentional about the internal abundance, the internal growth, the internal evolution, the internal healing, now that I understand that, I could position myself to become love so I can now be that opportunity of love and growth for someone else's journey. But we have to be mindful that we are all collectively connected and we are all going through this consciousness transformation. We're not going to be able to escape that. This is here. We are in it. The question is, are you leaning from it and learning the lesson rather than trying to change the condition? I love you. I love your soul. I love your journey. Peace.